Hello, and welcome to episode 2 of the Apprentice P45 podcast. I was about to say the I'm a Celeb fan podcast there.
I know, I saw that.
Did you?
I saw your face a bit like,
I told you we should never have recorded it, but you insisted we film ourselves this series. Hello and welcome to the Apprentice P45 podcast with me, Benjy Potter, and you.
Esme Todd. That's me.
And I'm over the moon, delighted, couldn't be happier to welcome to the podcast today, comedian, podcaster, and visiting HR staff member on the P45 podcast, Martin Joseph.
Hi.
Hi.
I'm so excited.
Well, thank you for joining us. And Martin, first of all, would you say you're an Apprentice super fan? And when did your love affair with the show begin?
You know, I always watched it, but then I think when we got to the first, don't like to talk about it, lockdown, I went back and binged the last all the seasons again that I could get hold of, and then found some online that I couldn't watch. So I'm invested. I'm so invested.
That's quite dedication to rewatch The Apprentice in lockdown. I've never heard anyone do that before.
It was so good.
So just to pick up on that, I mean, you're essentially an Apprentice historian.
I am.
And what would you say you've learned from watching old series of the show, and how, from an anthropological point of view, has it changed?
Oh, well, what I will say is from season, when was that? 7 years ago when they changed the format. That's when things got going. And what I like to say is you have 3 types of apprentice candidate. Okay, you've got your filler. We all know we've got our filler. You've got your possible winners. And then you've got my favorite type, which is your future celebs go dating and dancing on ice contestants. And they are my favorites. Your Ryan Marks.
Back in the day, it would have been Big Brother, right?
Yeah, it's gone. So we have to, they've got to go somewhere else. We're all on celebs go dating now.
We work with what we've got. Well, it's good to hear your point of view. And Esme, I'll let you kick off with last night.
Yeah. So let's start with the picking of PM. Now, me and Benjy spoke about this last week and about how would you be a PM. So Martin, I'm going to start this with you. Would you like to be a PM? Would you put yourself forward in the early days? No.
Episode 6. Episode 6, you go PM.
Okay, so that's the cutoff. You get to episode 6, and you think now it's a safe time.
Yeah, because you don't want to lose, right? So you can't be in that boardroom early on. So none of the winners, bar Alana, but I think we don't count Alana because she probably shouldn't have won. None of the winners have ever been in the we're talking the last 4 years, have ever been in the boardroom more than once.
Interesting.
So if you are PM early on, it's highly likely that you're going to end up in the boardroom. So you don't go early.
See, this is the sort of super fan levels we need.
Yeah.
I would not have known that. Look at him, sips his tea as after he makes his point.
I am waiting, when we finish the podcast, for Falmouth University to announce the first ever Bachelors in Apprentice in a course led by you, Martin Joseph.
Yeah, I'm going to be lecturer. I'm going to make it happen. It's going to be gorgeous. I think this might be my mastermind subject.
Well, anyway, so we had Francesca for the girls team, and we had Aaron for the boys team. Now, what me and Benjy liked, especially Benjy, was the fact that Francesca last week, Martin, I don't know if you remember, said oh, should we make a vote on who's PM? And Catherine, who was a PM last week, was like, no, I've decided it's me. And then this week she was firmly in there, wasn't she, Benjy?
Yeah, I mean, as well with the Bougie Cruises name, Francesca said
that was it, not the
that was it. Yeah. I was being gracious there, wasn't I? See, I'm a gracious.
You knew I was wrong. I said the wrong thing.
I could have tucked you out, but this is be hashtag be kind. So my observation, as you said, Esme, but it was about the logo. Francesca wanted a vote. Catherine wouldn't allow it. So that's
a way better way of describing what I meant to say.
That's it. That's it. So Francesca obviously made sure she was the PM. But my observation as well last night, Shama on 3 occasions, including being the PM or making herself the PM, said she wanted to do it, but got talked down to. And Martin, what do you think? Do you think Shama is not speaking up for herself, or do you think there's a sense of, I wouldn't say bullying, but people throwing their weight around? I don't know.
I think you get early on, you get the bolshy characters that want to come forward. And to be honest, I think it's a blessing for her. Just ride it out. Ride it out, because she made her voice heard enough that they were like, oh, she wants to try, but they're not going to throw her out until they see what she's made of. So in terms of like the process, she's very clever. Like, just let them, like, you want to get your voice heard enough, like, well, I tried, but then you let someone else take the brunt. Yeah. So she's fine.
I actually controversially thought that Francesca did seem the most suitable PM, because she had her kids' experience with, what was it? I forget what she does. She convinced me in her pitch anyway. I felt convinced.
Yeah, it was good. And she said, oh, and I've done something with teeth before, and I've done this to do with oral hygiene.
The company with,
did an app.
She's done apps. So I thought, Benji's shaking his head a little bit, I thought she seemed quite qualified for it.
The girl, and in my personal opinion, so I don't slander her, the girl is a snake, in my personal opinion. And I don't know if you saw, just skipping to the boardroom briefly, there were elements of throwing her teammates down the river when it came to all to do with the space design and the design of the toothbrush. She was just going with whatever would make her look good in the moment, despite the fact that she didn't make the right call about the design. Her design was too plain.
Interesting. I didn't know where that was going then. Like, you were like, oh, I've got my little opinion. She's a snake. It was
my favorite thing about it is that my favorite thing that people ever do is misuse quotes. And she finished that little chat and she went, so guys, you've got to remember, team stands for everyone achieving more when you're in a team. And I was like, that's not what the anagram is. Like she said it so confidently, and I was like, this is not going to go well for you. I was so excited.
Well, what about Aaron? What do we think about Aaron in terms of his leadership skills?
I think the boys are a bit
useless.
Wetter, yeah, like they're not ready to step up. So at least the girls were like, well, I'll do it. Oh, logically it looks like you should do it, where the boys just sit back and then someone will go, I'm going to take charge of it, and there's no thought process. It was like, I've got some kids, yeah, I'll do it. Like, it wasn't.
Also, like, they've got I've never known a group of people to be so uncreative in terms of anything they do. They're always like, oh, what should we call, a wizard? Oh, like, they're so uncreative. It's painful for a show where you have to be reasonably creative, right?
Because I assume the casting process was a creative process. I reckon, like, I don't know what it is, but I'm sure it's like Big Brother, where they have to get put into groups and they try stuff out and they have to design things. Like, I'm sure that's part of the process. So at some point in the process, he was just like, look, anything I do is brown and green, okay? Listen. Brown and green, I don't do names.
All I will say about this casting process is the fact that I am convinced they do it like, how on Britain's Got Talent, I don't know if you've ever seen this before, they have, when they do the auditions, if you're really, really good, you get through, and if you're really, really bad, you get through. The middlemen don't really do very well. Whereas on The Apprentice, it feels like they deliberately put in controversial and maybe not as good people just for the entertainment factor. I don't believe
Dancing on Ice. Yep.
I do not believe that those 16 people are the best that the UK has to offer when it comes to business at all.
No, there's 4 potential winners. They've picked their 4 potential winners. He's approved them. His team's picked them. They're ready to go. Then they were like, okay, who's gonna go on Dancing on Ice? And then they just filled it out with whoever was left. That's how they cast it.
Guys, but I have to say, the best people in business in the UK are outrunning their businesses making
They're
millions
not
of
doing
pounds.
3 months of free labor for BBC,
Yeah.
BBC One.
The joke is on Alan Sugar, right? for still fronting this show, right? Because it's an entertainment show. It's the equivalent of, I don't know, Barbara Streisand judging the X Factor. You know, it's like Simon Cowell works as an X Factor judge because he's on board for the entertainment, because it's not really about The Voice for most of the time. You know, this isn't really about business. If it was about business, hold up, we wouldn't have a podcast. It wouldn't be interesting, right? Not to get too meta on ourselves.
At least in the X Factor, they actually come out and find people who are future, like, I mean, like Harry Styles and One Direction came from X Factor. Like, you get big names from that show compared to the, I don't know a single person from the X Factor. What do they do after? I believe that they carry on working in business. The only one I can remember is Katie Hopkins, and that's for all the wrong reasons.
Yeah.
So.
I didn't realize Sarah Khan was an apprentice. Came second on the first series.
I didn't know that. Okay, she's number 2 then. That's the other one. Her and Katie Hopkins.
So let's talk about the naming of the product. Brushing Star, fair enough. Whiffy, the fucking wizard. What?
Who's meant to be aspirational was what's the guy's name? Is it? I wrote his name down. Nick, the guy that was in charge of designing the app. No, not Nick, the other one.
I literally have no idea what
We're
any
still
of them
struggling with names. Connor, the one who left.
The Irish
Connor. Now, Connor, like, he had to go. I knew he was going from the moment he said his statement where he went, no, it can't be, I don't know what words he used, like plus side or something. He basically went, it can't be that because we want it to be aspirational. And I was like, hello, 1994. Like,
I
what?
That went so under the carpet when he was like, "Oh, we don't want the wizard to be overweight, or we don't want him to be chubby because we want him to be like something for kids to aspire to."
Aspirational.
And I thought, like, what? And they were all. This is not even just him though. Everyone else was nodding, like, "Yeah, you're right. You're right."
Fair point, mate. Like,
why is no one finding this out? This is like absolute.
And then proceeded to make the most terrifying looking wizard that no one would be aspiring to look like. I was like, I don't know.
I just couldn't
I think we dropped the ball, boys.
It's
Guys,
like,
I saw the best meme earlier on today, and someone wrote, with a picture of Whiffy the Wizard, Whiffy the Wizard looks like he needs to go on a bougie cruise.
Oh dear. And Whiffy means something smells, right? Why did they go for that name?
Because even if you hadn't made the turd toothbrush, you're talking about breath. And like the mouth, I was like, Whiffy, like you wouldn't go, oh, I'm going to use my stinky toothbrush. Like,
yeah, it made absolutely zero sense. And I don't understand it. Brushing Star, didn't like that massively either, but it made a little bit more sense, didn't it?
Beige, but fine.
Beige, but
yeah, and you can see, the thing with Brushing Star, in my opinion, you can see it on the market, even though it is beige. You can, I personally can see a toothbrush like that. Being marketed.
Just better.
Can I ask you, I know this is your podcast, but what would you have done as your toothbrush like theme? Because I can tell you mine. Mine was like going for like dance, right? And it would have been like a dance mat style app. So like it would have been like, no, like when you've got to like hit the arrows, but it would have been like with the toothbrush. That's what mine was.
That could be quite painful and problematic for gum disease.
I don't like this negativity. You can go in the other team.
I have literally no idea what I'd do for an app. I really don't. I don't know if I do some sort of like daily, like if you brush your teeth at the end of that day you unlocked a new, I don't know, mini game or puzzle every day that you got to do, or something that was like kept you doing it every day. I don't know.
I think for me it'd have to be a drag queen toothbrush because and oh my god, as you brush you're putting the makeup on the drag queen.
That is a great idea.
Benjy, I can see why you might like that, but I don't know how many six-year-olds are like massively.
That was the shadiest comment of the P45 podcast. You might like that.
I know why you
poisoning our children.
That might limit the market though, Benjy. Like everyone dances. Everyone
Yeah, I
dances,
think
but
drag
not everyone's
queens-
into drag queens.
Drag queens are fun, but I don't know how many 6-year-olds are like really into it.
Yeah.
Do you know what I
More
mean?
than you'd think.
Maybe you and me as kids, Benji, would love that.
You two are
Yeah.
the target market for this, actually. Maybe you should go into business and make a drag queen 6 to 8-year-old toothbrush.
I'm calling
I
you
would-
after this. We're making this happen.
Yes, okay, we'll sort it. I'll get on to Karen Brady.
Oh, well,
What next?
We've talked a little bit about the the designing, which was, as always. Do you know what, the girls one I didn't think was that bad. It was orange, it had like little stars on it. I mean, Francesca was wrong when she said she didn't want all the stars on it and she wanted it plain. Why would that sell, an orange toothbrush? You can get that for a
No,
quid.
she set that up for them to do it. She knew they were going to do that.
But then she said in the boardroom later, she was like, I wanted it plain orange. Why would it be plain orange? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like, that
because
was
she
so
wanted to
boring.
throw them under the bus. Like, if
Yeah.
you give someone nowhere to go, you're giving them somewhere to go. So you say, I just want it to be plain orange, knowing full well that at some point in that car ride, a producer's going to go, do you agree with plain orange? And that one of them is then going to do it. And then she gets to be in the boardroom and throw someone under the bus.
Well, she did it, but it didn't work. It fucked up. It fucked up. And that's why I'm saying she's snaky, because she set them up. And my queen, Amy Ansell, was like, fuck right off. You're not having this fun.
Benji loves Amy. And can I also just add, Benji's last sentence has just made me change our explicit rating to explicit and no longer
I know.
safe for kids.
I know. Well, in that case, I can say I fucked it because.
Oh, we can swear now? Great, I'm on.
This episode, but you can mark individual episodes as explicit. So anyway, carry on.
So yeah.
But the boys' design, you knew as soon as he went brown. And they did that one click and it went brown. First thing you went, well, it looks like a giant poop. Like that's what it looks like.
Why are they so obsessed with brown and green? And it's like a real like poo brown and like a real slimy green. I don't understand why.
And their logic is like gender neutral, which that they keep talking about this the idea of gender neutral. I'm like, cool, like let's make something not gendered. Love that for us.
Yeah.
But that's basically saying we're just not going to use pink or blue because they're the traditional gendered colors. So use any other color.
Yellow.
Use
orange,
a turquoise. Like use
green, not brown as the main color. I don't understand it.
Can I offer up a conspiracy theory?
Go on. All the contestants are colorblind?
They should be. No. The producers set this one up after last week.
You reckon?
it does feel a bit narratively perfect, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Narratively perfect is a phrase I'd love to adopt into my everyday.
Yeah. Oh, I do it for when people are telling me lies. I'm like, their narrative's a bit perfect on that. Like, I would have come, but, and then they like have a perfect story about the events.
Well, what about the narratively perfect podcast?
I can add it to my list of 10,000 podcasts. Just produce that one.
2022, going to start a new podcast.
Well,
Shall
I
I
liked
talk-
the orange one. I thought it was okay. Nothing to write home
Yeah,
about.
but safe and beige. I enjoyed the chaos of the boys more than the girls. I will say that.
Fair enough.
I enjoyed, as a viewer, I enjoyed watching them making this fibrous poop that was the most fibrous poop I've ever seen. It was a Yule log of disaster, and they continued to make it. And at no point did anyone, and when it was in the box, because the head came off and it was in the box and it looked like Mr. Hanky, like it was so clear to everyone watching it. And that's what I enjoyed about the most about the episode, that at no point did anyone go,
It's great.
except Nick, who has an inability to say poop. Like he kept going, yes, it's apart from the bathroom sort of angle, like he can't say it. Like instead of just going, guys, it looks like a shit.
Can I say one thing before Benji
Yes.
moves on to the next topic? Because I know that we're
Yes.
angling for the next bit. My last thing I'm going to say is, because we're just to talk, so I think we're going on to pitching next, just to talk about the app designing a little bit. I really loved when the boys team were deciding what quotes to have for the wizards to say, and they were like, brush in small circles, and they were like, no, that's not kid friendly,
Hey.
They changed it, hey ... brush in small circles, and I was like,
And then they went, smash it.
children's
Got
mind. That's how children speak.
I'll say I did agree with them on that point. Anyway, moving on.
Moving on.
So pitching, well, we'll include market research, but a standout point is at which Nick was like, before they went into the pitch, he said, I've got some great news. The boys love it. 50% of the boys said they'd buy it. And Aaron goes, how many people did you survey? 2. He's like, mate, that's 1 person.
Why did the survey so few children? I don't understand that.
Children don't want to be associated with The Apprentice. They think it makes a mockery of modern business.
Their parents are like, no.
But yeah, pitching process. I don't remember much of the girls' pitching process.
Oh, I do. That they just changed
please.
everything. Like Kourtney Kardashian going out with a new boyfriend. She's just like, yeah, I'll change. Yeah, you've got tattoos? I'll get tattoos. Like, they're like, oh, we absolutely hate it. They're like, fine, we'll change every single thing. So at the end, yeah, they sold 15,000 units or whatever, but they sold 15,000 units of a product they didn't produce. They just said, whatever you want, we'll just make it. We'll make it. It's fictional anyway. We're not really making it. We'll just make whatever you want. And then they went, okay, well, we'll buy that.
Yeah.
Of course they want.
Yeah, I think this is the point in the podcast at which I reveal that when I first started watching The Apprentice, I actually thought that the orders were real.
Oh, that's a nice thought, isn't it? Well done, Benjy. For
like, you could go and buy a turd toothbrush today if anyone had bought it.
Well, you couldn't because no orders were placed.
When I was very young, I think I also would have questioned it. I mean, I didn't believe it was questioned.
This is a gracious co-host on a podcast, someone that makes up a lie to make me feel better. Sounds narratively perfect. Martin?
No, I heard it.
We need Martin, you need to review our podcast. So, you know, when you have like on the tube, there's those posters for like the West End, and it says like a little quote at the bottom. Can we put 5 stars, narratively perfect, Martin Joseph?
If my name had any traction, I would recommend you do it, but it's going to benefit you. If anything, people are going to go, oh, well, that kid's an idiot.
Like, can we put narratively perfect quote Lord Sugar? Maybe he listens.
Yeah.
So yeah, and just kind of the other point on the pitching was the fact that the guy at Superdrug said that the colour is terrible, and the boys said, well, you're wrong, because I think he actually said scientifically. No, the facts are that one little boy from the Sylvia Young agency said he liked it. So it's
some kid that had already done his PCR test because he was an extra on CBBC. They were like, can you just jump in here and try out this old shit toothbrush? Yeah. Loved it.
Loved it, yeah. So that was the pitching, and over to you, Esme.
Yeah, so we'll get on to the boardroom and all the firing and the end bit. We won't talk about who was fired straight away, but my only main comment we've actually discussed a little bit was about Francesca. Just every single thing she was like, can I just say, Lord Sugar, that I actually didn't agree with that, and can I just say, Lord Sugar, that wasn't actually my idea, and can I just say, Lord Sugar, that wasn't what I was going to go with for this color. And I was like, my God, you didn't, like, don't just lie the whole way through and say you hated everything, like, just so it makes you sound better. You just sound like, it gives me the vibe, as you know, in a primary school when there's that one kid who's like, I didn't do it, I was, you know, that vibe.
I would like them to introduce the element of playing back conversations.
Yes.
I would love that. You know, like last week when I forget what the conversation with the boys was, where someone went, well, I said this, and they went, no, you didn't. And it was a complete lie. Yeah. And they went, well, bing. And they just showed it.
If Lord Sugar had a little glamorous apprentice, he went, here we go. Here we see 24 hours earlier.
Well, listening to you talk about earlier, your comment about Shama speaking up just enough to be able to say, well, I tried to say something. I thought when it got down to the boys in the boardroom, that was Navid, right? He said very clearly, and we all saw it, and they gave him lots of airtime to say it. What did he say? he made a comment about the
It was the green. He wanted like a green stripe about the toothbrush design, wasn't it?
Yeah, or some other pictures on it, or whatever it was. No one really knew what he meant, but he objected enough to be able to distance himself from the final project, from the final
I
product.
think everyone panics, don't they? They kind of go into like, they're like, we're a team, and then they get into that room and they're like, I'm by myself, like, and they.
I don't get it. Like, they're so, in that moment, they are all so quick to be like, well, you know, Benjy said this and Martin said that, and Benji's awful at business and Martin will never have a career. And then as soon as they like win, they're all like dancing up and down, hugging each other, you know, clinking their champagne, going, well done, girls. It was a great win for us. I'm like, I would not forget if someone said to me like, oh, you're awful at business or you're this or you're that. I would not just then be like, okay, all's forgiven because we've won. I'd be like, well, you're a horrible person. Stay away from me.
I mean that, but also that is the point of the show, isn't it? I have said that before, that I would love to see the next episode someone hold a grudge. They never hold a grudge. I would hold such a grudge.
Yeah, I would.
Like if I'd been like the second in command and the PM had like thrown me under the bus and be like, he was useless, but I got through anyway. I wouldn't come the next week. I'd be like, I am going to screw you up so hard. Like, I am going to come for you and I'm going to take you down. Like, I would be holding a grudge.
This is the pettiness I want. This is what I wish they had slightly more of in the show.
I know, it's ridiculous.
The thing is, they used to do a lot more filming in the house, and like of them waking up, of them like interacting in the house, of people oversleeping, and that's what I want to see. Big Brother is not on telly anymore, so we need an Apprentice Big Brother hybrid. You know, I really want to see more of the conversation that happens before the team get back.
That's what I want to see on that spin-off show. That's what I want to see. I want to see like behind the scenes or like a making of type, like when the camera was off and them going like I want to see that stuff.
Or some of the producers and runners, a bit like BGT now, where they go, you're on, and someone strides towards the stage. I want to see a bit of I want to pull the curtain back a little bit.
Yeah, or like, because we know that there's been relationships in the past in that house. Like, I want a love story. I want like some dramas. I want someone to answer the phone and go, you need to be ready in 30 minutes. And they go, and then they just go and get ready themselves. And they're like, 5 minutes, guys.
That would be.
That's what I want.
It'd be
I
incredible.
would love that. Well, Martin, I think you should go in it maybe next year to sort of stir things up and give us all these things we've talked about and that we want from the show.
I would do it. And the thing is, I think I would just be worried that I would win. And I don't.
And then what?
I want to be top 5.
The thing is, though, it's not even actually unbelievable that you might win because they're all crap anyway. So like, I mean, disrespect to you is disrespect to them.
To be honest, I know I'm getting picked as a Dancing on Ice contestant, and that's okay. But I think I think is it Amy, the Hollywood browser lady?
Yeah, the American one.
I think she is the deserving winner. My prediction now is that she's not going to win because her company's too established.
Interesting.
But she'll be the fan favourite, a la bag of chips, and she'll do the best outside the competition.
Oh, I think she's going to be a dragon in the next 4 years.
She's a drag queen for a second then.
Dragon, like a dragon's den, whatever you call it.
Yeah.
That is a huge claim. I was going more like celebs go dating.
This is definitely becoming some sort of Amy fan podcast because honestly,
she could be a loose woman.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
Amy,
she's the right dance for that.
Coming for you with all of with these career ideas.
Should we talk about the firing before we run out of time?
Yeah. So Connor was fired. There we go. No,
wasn't the right choice, was it?
Did you?
No? After he made his body shaming remark, I was done with him. I was like, bye.
Okay, interesting. Benjy?
I thought Aaron deserved to go, but what I'm seeing, and maybe this might make me eligible to join the degree at the next intake, is I'm seeing that having the chutzpah to put yourself through as PM in the early stages means you might get into the boardroom. You will get into the boardroom, obviously. We'll be called back into the boardroom, but you won't be fired.
That's a good, yeah. The thing is, Aaron gave me good TV. he argued with people. He like was firm. He gave me that he gave me that terrible design. Like he gave me good TV. Whereas what's his face that went? I can't remember. It's Connor. Forget beige.
Who was the third
Forgettable.
one that was in there that wasn't
Nick.
Connor or Aaron? Nick.
Nick.
I thought he didn't really deserve to be in there. He was just a random.
I love Nick. Nick is my John Tickle of this season. He is my burning flame of joy, because he's in the group and he's like a little quiet mouse, and then they put him on camera and he's like, do you think it could look like something? And then they do his like VT and he's like, I think it looks like a shit. Like, I love him. I'm obsessed with him. I think he's brilliant.
Is John Tickle the man from Brainiac?
Yeah, who was originally from Big Brother.
Okay, well, I'm gonna have to research that afterwards. I just had to pause on that.
Yeah, the presenter
reference.
that he was yeah, it was a Brainiac where they do like the experiments, but he was like a Big Brother contestant from like, I think season 4, Cameron's season.
Well, on that note, Esme.
This is very like specific knowledge that is not in my mind. But anyway, we liked the episode, did we? Overall, good.
Yeah, I think it's a strong year. I think it's going to be. I don't see a clear winner yet, but I know who it'll be. It'll be one of the 3 quiet girls that are efficient. It'll be one of them. That's how you win the show. Karina, Sean, all the old winners were and a girl like that was just good.
Oh. High praise. They were just good. Anyway,
they'll be good and they'll get through.
Martin, thank you so much for joining us
Thank you for having me.
And giving your wonderful opinions. You know lots more about The Apprentice than Benjy and I seem to do. Back knowledge, so that's always good. And thank you everyone who's listened, or if you're watching this on YouTube, thank you for watching. I always forget that we're recording this, visuals, hello. So thank you for listening, thank you for watching week 2 of The Apprentice, and we'll be back next week to have some more vibrant discussions about the show. And also remember to follow us on Instagram and Twitter. We're Apprentice P45 podcast. Is that what we're called? Something like that. Well, we come up when you search it. So yeah, that's it. Thank you guys. Bye.
Thanks for having me. Bye.
Bye.